So welcome to another exploration into consciousness with the Earth Nouveau Hub. And as usual, I am super excited to have you guys here with me. And today our subject is embodied spirituality, because we just can't run away from this anymore. It's running after us. And I just got to give a little context before we go into it. Any further detail. So embodied spirituality is pretty much in the name. It's in the name. So embodied spirituality has nothing to do with leaving our bodies and becoming, an astral warrior or something like that. In fact, it's actually the opposite. It's not about, neglecting our body. It's not about withdrawing from the physical form, or from any, interests that we have or responsibilities, day-to-day responsibilities that we have. But it is for us to expand our level of experiences, to elevate our frequencies. How? Through obviously self-healing, as we've done, through, daily or weekly spiritual practice. And at the moment we've done all of that. So most importantly as well for me at the moment right now is we have to look at all the different dimensions. We have to have an understanding of the dimensions, the realms, the planes. And it doesn't have to be accurate as such, because nobody really can give us that information other than our own self-exploration. And all those planes, dimensions, and realms that we are actually living simultaneously whilst we're still in body. So the purpose of today's topic of, the embodied spirituality is to just reinforce, understand, appreciate that every single one of us is here on Earth to resolve karma, to elevate our experiences, to understand the human multidimensional journey, pilgrimage, as Rudolf Steiner would call it. And then we can start to really appreciate our gifts and our capacities and start bringing them, making them into abilities. So tapping into all the dormant gifts, capacities that we haven't explored yet. And that's the sort of the context. And I have asked people to come up with questions, because we can take this in so many different directions. And then also I want to do something sort of a practical exercise. Because the other thing is, before I'm going to go to the questions and we're going to kick it off, the other thing is we have been looking at, so take for example, take the male-female aspects that we looked into. We identified what's female in the very beginning, what's male, all the attributes, and how can we bring it all together. Now, at this level of the game, we don't have to take it all apart anymore, because we're starting to integrate a much more balanced and coherent sort of way of living. Now, the next level for me that I would like to explore with you guys, with this group, and everyone else who is interested, is to really understand the astral world, the astral body, and the physical body, so that we can start integrating those and start understanding that there is no difference, and have a much better, a fresher, more intense, more colorful, more joyful sort of experience within our physical vessels here on this earth. That's the context. And if anyone wants to shout out something, bring something into that, by all means, kick it off.
Can I say?
Of course you can.
You said heal the karma. I would say like this: heal the memories. Oh. Heal the memories. Things karma, I doubt today we have any left around us in a structure, in the air. And I got this confirmation today at my acupuncture treatment. My therapist was using dry needles, but he's working very interesting way. He's not just putting and leaving me with those needles. He is screwing those needles, he is swirling, and he's working with nerves, so he's going very deep. At some point, he hooked to needle electric some equipment that was giving frequency to that needle. Yeah. And when he was doing that, usually when I am in treatments like that, when even touching body, I have pictures just flooding my my brain from past, all those connections that we call karma involvement, yeah, those entanglements, yeah, where I got, like you were saying, with just remembering my past experience that is giving me something in today sensations. And when he hooked that electric equipment to needle, I didn't have any pictures. Even having with him this year, couple treatments before today, I was kind like surprised, no pictures. But I was like, okay, it's coming later. No, they didn't come. And even now, when he hooked that electric thing, I didn't have any pictures coming. But I asked him, what frequency do you do? And he said 5 hertz. And from my research, 5 to 7 hertz, this is what need for vagus nerve to have release and restructuring and integration point to happen. Yeah, because we know about vagus nerve. Yes, this is 95% going to body, to brain from vagus nerve, and only 5% to body through vagus nerve. So, and vagus nerve, its connection to our previous spiritual experiences. So memories, karma, accumulation of entanglements. So, and I looked into that experience and I got very, very excited because it was another confirmation. What people want to see in past, today in everyone's placebo effect state in their energy field, personal energy field, that is, yes, connected to everything, but it's not already in air around us. This was my observation and kind like conclusion from that. So this is what I want to say. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. I hear what you're saying. And from, let me, if you think of that experience, is it at all possible that you bypassed the lower levels of the astral world and went straight into the 3 higher ones?
This is what I'm saying, that we are today so much have to restructure that astral world, not to hook what it was before, because it doesn't actually exist. We can recreate with our ability to recreate, but it doesn't exist in reality of astral world. You see, we have to restructure it today into different, what may be closer to crystal cities, future generations, 7 future generations that are planning to be incarnated. Maybe, but this is kind of like end of our discussion today. Sorry for
no, but it's great, and I because that's really where, you know, where we need to start looking. We need to understand, just like we understand our levels of perception and consciousness within the physical realm, every single level of that is connected to an astral realm. So we can't just talk about the astral reality or world as a one thing. There are layers, and again, Rudolf Steiner is the source I'm looking into, talks about 7 layers of virtues. Virtues, that's not, the W is not my thing. But anyway, and of course, when we go into dream time, we have, but what you're saying is also, Irina, is that it's all about focus, it's all about intention, and it's all about choice, just like it is.
Accumulation of memories, not resolved memories, that are still hooking you to those 7 layers like we knew them in our past.
Yeah. So what you're saying is to not be able to go beyond the lower levels of astral, and go straight to the higher ones, like, well, spirit, really. Because, when we think of the astral, the way I look at it now from my limited perspective, from my research, is the soul is still connected it's connected to the higher, to the spirit level, but also to the astral level. But the soul is very much living in the astral plane and all the different levels of astral plane. And even when we go through our within reincarnations, yes, we do have an opportunity to look into the higher levels, but the majority of our work between incarnations is still in the astral, is still on the astral level, all the various ones.
Yes, and I would say, you say soul live very much through astral world. I would say like this: it's more easy to translate for soul what is happening on astral world, on that layer of creation, to our physical experience. Why? Because that level of creation that we call astral world, and it's 4 dimension actually, that is still have very, very soft duality. So we can connect to our experience of human body here and human experience in general, because it's kind like has connection. Starting from next, it's not duality. In next layers, there is no duality. So for soul, it's a totally different experience in relation to physical experience today, as we know about. But if we look through that layers, you say 7, look at our human 7 colors. It's all connected. But it was so infused with limitation experience, that astral world, and accumulating those debris, leftovers, stuck souls who couldn't move, that if we still have memories in us through physical brain in this life, we still have memories about our entangles, and it's showing in us as trauma, as some pain, as some sensation, physical, so all that stuff. So we then will recreate on astral world what we need to remember. But in truth, through all my work, going with healing and soul retriever, parts of soul, all that stuff, showing me that in 2019, somewhere August, I remember, that astral world was cleaned up. Remember how we know this information about archonic presence in astral world? That part was cleaned up in 2019. So we have just some left over for those beings on earth, real beings and real leftover, that is controlling those beings on earth today, who still in resolution because they couldn't decide and still can't decide, that part of those higher dimensional beings who invested everything here on earth. it doesn't have any possibility to take this experience and connect to something that is outside of our universe. They can't bring it with them, and they are still looking how to do it. That's why we still have left over in astral world for those beings, but not for everyone else in general. And everyone else can recreate in astral world everything that was present before. We are genius, we are miracle, yes, we are everything. But in truth, we can work with our memories and see astral world new way. Start to create spaces in astral world for those crystal cities to come with new possibilities of our future. It's
absolutely. So let's just chunk this down a little bit, because you're going in straight into the big picture, and that's great, you know, as well. But you know, one of the big things is with embodied spirituality, to get to this topic of ours, is the realization, what Irina just said, that the astral world is not something that is alien to us. It is, in fact, our emotional body. When we start clearing out our longings, our desires, our passions, you know, and sort of balance the sympathy and the antipathy and come into the non-judgment. This is the whole work that we're doing on this physical world. That automatically cleans out the astral world, because we are connected. It's a bit like the left, right, and the right side of the brain. We cannot no longer keep it separate. We kept it separate because we have come from separation going into oneness. But now it's the time to start understanding that, in fact, the astral realm has never been separate from us. And that's why so many of us had got bitten, you know, in the ass really badly, when we have no boundaries in the astral world. So what Irina is saying is, we're talking about the 7 levels of astral spirit world, with the 4 of them, you know, and that's coming from Steiner. I can only say, I don't know where you got them from, but it makes a lot of sense, because those 4 levels are exactly what we as individuals are working here in the physical world. So they're all not exactly, but very similar to the astral. So the boundaries that we are having to initially establish because of being separated individuals, before we can let them go again, we have to fortify our I am presence. We have to fortify our I am ego. There's nothing wrong with ego. We talked about that before. And once we have cleaned up all of that in this realm and acknowledge that the link to the astral realm, that we're doing exactly the same thing over there, then we can start dissolving those boundaries again, dissolving all those, we're not going to dissolve our individuality, because that's just part of what the soul is all about, unless we really go all the way high up into the monad, into the source again. But as long we are talking here on a soul level, individuated soul, clearing out our journey on the physical realm, going hand in hand with clearing out our journey in the astral realms at the same time, which are exactly layered to our levels of consciousness.
So I have a question. When you're talking about the 7 levels of the astral world, are you relating those to different, like, dimensional experiences? Like, I'm not understanding exactly what you 2 mean by 7 levels.
I'm relating them, and Irina, you can say just now, but let me start off. So I'm relating them to the levels of consciousness and the levels of responsibility that we have taken. So for instance, the first one in this reality here is all about being a separate individual, taking responsibility for our safety, for our security, for our earthly journey, making sure that we are, you know, that kind of thing. Now, for the people that do not do that kind of thing, they're not going to have a journey that is considered safe. You know, they don't have money, they can't make money, they don't have a home, they have issues with all sorts of things. You know, it's that. Now, when we look in the astral world, we're talking about discombobulated, energies, ghosts that are just hanging about and knowing what to do, demons, if you wish, and that kind of thing. You know, so it's a lower realm of astral world. We're not talking about the higher ones like the angelic beings or even the elementals as such, you know, because they come at a different level, at a different, and there is a hierarchy, but it's not a hierarchy in form of competition or anything like that. But
vibration.
Yeah, in terms of vibration, right?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say, well, you can call it dimension because the dimensions are different vibrations as well. But I'd just stick to different vibrations or lower frequencies, you know, just like we have lower frequencies in this realm, we have lower frequencies connected in the astral realm. Irina, you go.
I would say 7 colors of experience. Remember? 7 colors of experience we have here. Soul has possibility to have on earth. Not everyone exists in 7 colors, all rainbow. Some people here on earth occupied in only 3 colors, 4 colors. We have today kids who are in more than 7 colors. They have not just violet, but they have, how we call it, not just red, but how we call it?
Ultraviolet.
That stuff. Yes, that stuff. But in my understanding, the 7 layers coming connected to 7 colors of possibility, like Martina said, to accumulate in astral level those debris that will hold us to return back and repeat again and again, being part of reincarnation in our past, just to continue that limitation duality experience going until we reach bottom. But this is what happened. We reached bottom. Remember, we did everything, everyone did everything. This is that bottom. Nothing to explore anymore. For soul, we are done. Now, after that, we start to create in embodied, not so create. We start to create from beginning, returning techniques, yes, returning possibility to source, to everything. But like Martina said, we start to embody our experience that we are everything here on earth, and it's very much connected to astral world. Why? In astral world, we have all stuckness that we can't see in physical world.
Well, to be honest, you know, it goes hand in hand.
Now, not now, couldn't.
It goes hand in hand. When we start clearing out our crap here, that is a reflection of the astral etheric realm, then we start clearing out the astral. But then there is in addition stuff going on in the astral world that we need to become more aware of. Because, you know, as we are becoming more expanded avatars, we have more access to different layers of the astral world. And if we're not willing to look at what those are, and we're not understanding them, then in a sense is not necessarily blissful at times, because we have spoken about the more awareness we have, the more responsibility we have to take. And that is going beyond what we can see here, beyond the 5 senses, you know?
I would say astral a layer, it's only part of that four-dimensional entirety of layer. And angelic realm, like you mentioned, Martina, exists completely separate from astral world, but on that 4D level of consciousness. So astral world closer to 3D, to us, angelic closer to next level that we call Christ consciousness, oneness. And they, that part, not they, us on angelic level, because it's all our continuation. You're right, Martina. Nothing foreign to us. It's all our continuation. But angelic presence that is further from 3D level of consciousness, then on that layer, on that part of 4D, we were preserving possibility for us to connect to entirety of creation, not to stuck in astral level. That is accumulation of all our entanglement. This is what I see in my understanding. So let's separate those two layers of that 4D level of consciousness and talk about astral layer as where really we can start and not to expand further. And this is where, like you said, emotions, I would say like this, through our physical body emotions here on earth, human emotions, emotion like a tool that can show us what kind of entanglement you're still holding in astral layer, yeah? What is still pulling you to stay in duality limitation experience here and not to be healed, to be ready to expand and remember more and more and more and more, become more and more and more. This is what we are looking to become our future, different that we had before experience. Something different through these bodies, not without these bodies, but with these bodies, to start to open our siddhis, our powers, and use them.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we want to do, we talk about embodied spirituality today. So we will talk a lot more once we get more into it, about the levels of the astral world, what experiences and things like that. All right. Let's just for today. Yeah. So let's just keep it a bit more tangible, make that connection that we've just made so that we no longer forget that there is an astral hygiene that is really, really important for us to consider. And what Irina just said, let's flip that for a moment. Let's flip the coin on that. She said the emotions that we have in this physical reality give us an indication of what's going on in the astral world, how we are still entangled. And that's very true. So let's just look from an astral perspective. Think of it that way. Every time you have a thought, let's just take a thought, not even a huge chaotic drama, emotion or anything. You create a cloud, a thought form in the astral with every single one. Now, that astral thought form, so let's say, let's take an emotion, let's take anger. So you're angry. So you're tapping into the anger cloud that is already hanging around in the astral world. And that's a collective one. It's not just yours. And that's why the hygiene, astral hygiene, is becoming more and more important for us to consider with heightened levels of awareness, because you have to be, the focus has to become more and more cleaner. We have to think cleaner, we have to speak cleaner, because we're tapping straight into something. And then you wonder sometimes why you feel depressed, why you feel angry. And in reality, is it really yours? Or have you just by one thought tapped into that astral cloud that is still hanging around there? And by you making the choice in this reality right here, acknowledging your connection with the astral, because there's no such thing as a physical body without the astral body in conjunction, just like there is no such thing as a right brain without the left brain. It all has to work together. And this is that integration, that coherence we have to start looking into now.
I would say like this. When we recognize, this is the difference of time today, we can recognize. We can become conscious about our anger, about that it's my anger. Yes, it's connected to collective, but I experience anger today, right now. And not to blame mirror, but look, I have that anger, I experiencing, so I can do something with that anger, yes? At that moment, this is difference of this time from our previous times. It was much harder to recognize it, not to be taken by flow and just move with experiences. Today, we can make that stop point and recognize I have anger. And then the biggest thing in the beginning, we have to make choice. Do I want to have that anger in me or not? Do I want to have that experience to be angry? This is choice of making choices. This is point of making choices. We have to make our choice for us clearly. If we don't make choice, it will continue. Why? Because we have contracts, vows, agreements that supporting our experiences. And if we don't make stop point, wow, angry, do I like it or I can drop it already? And not to look into experiences with anger. And you got this not very I would say not very simple emotion, anger, because anger, it's an active emotion. You can see it as fire, yeah, and you can see it as creative source of fire inside of you. So see it as simple emotion for being angry, just simple, without looking into spiritual possibility of what is active emotion can become, see it as human duality anger, I'm angry.
We're looking at it as a negative, emotion at this moment in time. But, without going, convoluting too much further here, it's the idea. What we're saying is, yes, that's all spiritual hygiene, that's all energy hygiene and all of that we've been doing anyway. With embodied spirituality, what we're adding the next layer. And the next layer is the awareness of what's actually happening. As you're clearing here, just like Irina says, the responsibility of the individual to clean your own bloody whatever that is now, emotion, thought form, you are impacting on the astral world. And the big picture in all of this, once we start connecting to all of this, we can actually literally clear out the astral world, all the layers of the astral, the lower frequency levels of the astral world, which will then allow us to just move beyond, go straight to the Akashic records, where form is being, creations, higher arts, and all of that. But let's leave it at that, because that was already whoa. So let's.
Well, I want to say something for a second,
yes,
just to make a distinction about my perception, because I think that when I think of astral world, what it feels like and seems to me. So if you look at Irina's flower of life, right? If you think about the geometric structure within the circle, and then look at the band, right, around that. So to me, my perception of the astral world is that band, right? So our human physical experience is the flower of life within the center. The astral world is the band, where when we go through this reincarnation cycle, this is where those parts of us, our soul shards, after incarnating as on Earth as a human are going to get trapped, right? And the emotions get trapped and entangled within that layer, right? And so thinking about embodiment and soul shard recovery, right? When we can start bringing all of those parts and pieces back to us from that astral plane, right? Oh, that past lifetime that I had in, England, where I got my head chopped off, and all the emotions that go with that, right? All of the power hungry energy that led me to that experience in that lifetime. When we bring all of those back here to this now space and clear our own energy out of that astral plane, which to me is like the fourth dimensional reality, right? Then we can almost like, I don't know, bunny hop past that energy.
Dissolve.
And begin to bring in higher frequency energy, right? And to me, that astral world, it's a construct, right? It's an energetic overlay that has been, I think, put upon us by the beings that want to trap us in a cycle. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and thanks for that, because that what you were saying, we're bringing it into our physical reality, like psychic surgery and stuff like that. And with the embodied spirituality, what we need to add to this level of awareness, to what Tanya was just saying, is that literally we do not necessarily have to consciously bring it into this reality, because it's already here. Because the past, the future, and the present is literally on top of each other, and we are living it simultaneously. So when Tanya says we're bringing it in, we're bringing it into our awareness. And that's what this is all about. So spiritual embodiment is acknowledging our multidimensionality, all these different shards, parts, and avatars, I ams, whatever versions of ourselves that are literally stuck in other realities. But it's all happening here right now. And that's why I'm still talking about karmic resolution, because, or memories, remembering the memories and bringing them into order. And there might not be a need to go into every single lifetime in order to do that, if you have other ways of clearing stuff gone, destroyed, and uncreate. But I think from a human brain mind perspective, we find it sometimes easier to just single out a part and start dealing with that particular part. And then once it's dealt, once you've released the emotion from that experience, the experiences, they remain, they don't go anywhere, they're in your field. So even if you cleared a particular drama that you had 5,000 years ago, it's still there for you to tap into, but you will no longer have an emotional reaction to it. And it will no longer draw you or any other parts of you that are a part of your multidimensionality, because you are, in fact, we heard that before, we are letting go, we are releasing those echoes that going through all those different timelines, different dimensions, realms, and planes of existence.
I want to add to this.
Yeah.
You are talking from 7 colors of experience that you are existing on those 7. For those people for who not 7 colors they experience in physical body, they really like Tanya saying they have to bring that. They can to bring that from astral into their awareness, kind like become more expanded from, for example, they are living on 3 colors only in this world, in physical body. So they can start to expand to bring those awarenesses about existing of fourth color, fifth, seventh, sixth color. So bring into their physical life, awaken, yeah, start to be conscious. And then they will live what you are saying, I have everything here. Then yes, you're working with your memories that are connected to what Tanya's saying, like that band on Flower of Life, yes? And in my understanding, my vision, when we work with our memories through our emotions and physical sensations and thinking, and when we integrate, like you said, Martina, our experiences, yes, they don't go anywhere because it's only energy, but you integrate it, you flip it into just experience, then you dissolve that band. And then you don't have old structure in astral layer of 4 dimension because it's only space for putting there any structure. Yes, we agreed to have their controlling structure before that is connected to archonic presence, yes? But now when we more and more work with our integration of soul parts, all that stuff, memories, we just emptying that space that is astral world. We don't have old structure, we dissolve it, taking back our representation that we put there as our agreement. Yes, I need to be controlled just to start this reincarnation, going and going and going, yeah, and having more accumulation. So in my understanding, we are emptying space of astral world for new structure that we have to put there if we want our expansion, if we want our miracles to come to us and have different experience than we had before.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. And, you know, like we can even add to that and say, you know, memories, yes, but, and in addition to that, there is infinite data out there. And the more, you know, you can either deconstruct the boundaries, or you can say, okay, I can perceive the boundaries, but I know they do not hinder me from going through them, right? So it's either way, because it's going to take probably a little bit longer for the whole disconstruct. But the main thing is just like here now, you know, do we still need those boundaries, or can we go into the harmonic unity that we're all talking about, so that we can tap into that data that is available in the astral world, but of course beyond, so that we can really use our, no longer our solar plexus, but our mind connected with the heart and tap straight into the cosmic mind. And that's obviously a big jump from, you know, but that is available to us now. And, you know, I'm a big fan of having the bigger picture, because otherwise we get bored, right? This is possible. Doesn't mean that we have to be there right now, but, and you know, we're probably not yet. So that's why we got to then chunk it back down again. And the question now, because we've all prepared some questions or not, I certainly have one. So we're going to go back. We rein it all in. This was a huge context. We're going to rein it all in. Spiritual embodiment. What does it mean to you right now? To all those that haven't had a chance to talk yet. If they want to talk. Wake up, peeps! Did we put you to sleep?
Well, I mean, again, to me, spiritual embodiment is bringing all of those parts and pieces into an awareness and grounding it and being present with it. Right? It's like we as a human being can contain so much information and knowledge, but when we're connected into that divine blueprint heart of Mother Earth and grounding, right? We don't have to hold all of that information in our brain storage container. We can ground it to earth and then bring that energy up anytime we want, right? So that embodiment to me is the collaboration of all of those parts of my spiritual self and Mother Earth, right? And meeting that energy in between and flowing with it.
Very cool. So let's go totally tangible, right? So it's all happening, right? We're doing the work, we're having our spiritual sort of practice going on. We're starting to understand that, we're living in all these different dimensions at the same time. We're starting to tap into, we're starting to clear out that astral world. These energies are coming in like crazy. What is that doing to us and our bodies? How do our bodies feel with that huge integration that's been happening over the last couple of weeks, months? Mary.
I think they're the
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can you hear me? I'm driving.
Go for it. And then
yes, we can hear
Mary
you.
and then Tanya. Go, yeah?
All right. Oh, sorry. Did I cut across you, Tanya?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You were asking Martina how it affected the body right now, all this integration. And I think that just for me personally, I would have experienced a lot of discomfort in my body, and it brings up areas where the energy isn't flowing freely. And if the energy is flowing freely, I think the integration just flows. But it just brings up, and I think that's why there's so much stuff coming up actually right now for a lot of people too, because of any blockages that are there, because the body is technology. And you were saying, somebody was saying earlier about trying to attract in the higher vibration, and yes, but I think that we also are the higher vibration. We are the lower vibration, and we're everything in between. And I think that right now it is about attracting in, but it's also about radiating out, and somewhere meeting that in the middle. And it's just keeping the body. I think this is the time where a lot of focus is actually on the body and on keeping the body healthy and the energy flowing in order to enable that meeting to take place as easy as it can do.
Good point. Good point. Lots of people talk about ascension symptoms.
However, it's not essential symptoms. It could be like because they're changing in the planets, we are feeling in our body.
Yes.
Because we are really a battery system for the whole system that integrate everything together. Is that I have been feeling like some kind of pain and tiredness that I haven't experienced before. And sometime early in the evening, I feel like sleepy. I have to go to bed early. That I was not doing that before too. However, I feel like how I can adjust my physical body, that I can feel comfortable with that. This morning I went maybe a couple of hours ago, I went out through the window looking the sun shining and the light, trying to focus in my forehead to kind of change my swing, because I was feeling like this emptiness, or like a moment of no purpose or anything, like this thing that what's the point to keep walking, or what happening, why I feel like no motivation or something like that. And I was just looking the sun and said, how can it be better than this? What can feel more motivated me to keep looking for better every day. And it's kind of sometimes a challenge to see so many things that we want to do, but limited time, and that we have to continue no matter what. That's kind of a challenge sometimes. And
Herminia, this is a perfect example from like through those times of transition. It almost feels a bit like a vacuum. Because it's like you're no longer drawn to the old passions or the old desires or anything. but you're not entirely sure what's going on with this body. Why is this happening? You know, and then we forget that actually, you know, this is part of the freedom that we're going towards. And Irina mentioned that in the very beginning. Once we've almost done with the karmic resolution and with the remembrance of all our entanglements and everything, then we have this possibility to go forward and start creating on the dharmic path, which is a very different way of creation. And it's on the dharmic path, the creation is no longer just a material creation where you focus on the physicality, focus on what's happening on the physical, but you have a heightened awareness of what's going on in all the other realms and your other levels of existence, and the way you work with your other multidimensional selves to begin to create something beyond your wildest imagination, even beyond your dreams. And this is what I'm finding with this embodied spirituality now. It's like, whoa, we can no longer just trust our five senses. We have to tap into those senses that we haven't even acknowledged yet. We have to start working with our intuition, with our imagination. And every time we fall back to the old ways of working, we are starting to limit our avatars again. We're falling backwards.
Well, then my purpose should be like how much I can be aware and integrate all the part of myself, who I am in different level, how I can reintegrate it and be comfortable with it, and the openness to be able to change depending what I'm doing, what the level of myself I can bring in the moment.
Yeah. What else can we create that we've never considered a possibility? I mean, Irina was talking about crystal cities, going to the crystal cities, you know, using our dream time. This is when embodied spirituality can no longer neglect the dream time. We need to start really taking control, is the wrong word, but really making the most of our sleep time, right? What are we doing? Go, yeah, Irina?
And even bring it into daydream.
Yes.
And start to live it in our daytime, what we connected in our dream time and all that. This is what I was reminded, because I was bored for so long time, completing all those, bringing everything, integrating everything. And I was like, okay, what do I do now? Where's my fun today? And this is what I start to be reminded lately, that you exist everywhere. It's not separate. I really have experiences of that. So, and what we can put into that astral layer of 4D for us to connect our higher expansion with our experience here and start to have experiences through physical body, what we put on that astral plane, bring from creation, yeah? Like Martina said, we even can't imagine. This is that thing that can come to us in our dreams, and we have to put it in astral layer for supporting our physical experience become miracle experience.
Absolutely. So let's actually, thanks for kicking this off. So I want to, I've said it to the girls before, whoever was on, let's all come up with some sort of, because what does that even mean, right? What did she just say? You know, so let's actually give an example of that. And I'm going to use the example of my arm, because I've had my right arm, it's the 3rd month now, and I've had this frozen shoulder situation, and, you know, it's just not, it's slightly getting better. I've done a couple things, and I thought, okay, let me look at this on the etheric or astral realm, right? In the unseen. Let's call it just the unseen. Let's not go, you know, technical, etheric, this or that. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter which layer, lower higher frequency, whatever. It's just, what is this? Because we know that the unseen is creating the physical, right? So when I then work on the metaphorical exploration, I realized that my arm was missing. And I think I said that before, so I'm not going to repeat this whole thing. It took me 2 months exploration now, 3 lifetimes. I extrapolated, you know, to just see. And every time I looked at the lifetime, I cleared out whatever experience was there that was still an entanglement in the unseen. I had, first there was a stump, then the next was up to the elbow, and then the third incident, I had my entire arm back. And then what happened is I was watching a movie, a series, and for no particular reason, absolutely not connected to that movie in any sense, there was a morgue. And the lady who walked in to show the police people the dead person and opened the bag had her right arm cut off, amputated obviously, and only the stump was there. And it almost hit me. I almost fell back on the couch, and I'm like, right arm, only the stump? That's exactly what I've been working with, right? And I looked at this, did it make any sense for bringing, for you know, using an actor with an amputated hand in that particular scene? And it wasn't. So I then just concluded, out of curiosity and fun and joy, that this was purely for my benefit. Now, people can say, now she's gone completely loopy, but for me, that made perfect sense. And this is what, when we say start looking at the clues, what's going on, you're starting to create in the unseen. And then obviously for me, that was a little confirmation. Yes, you did it. Yes, you did it. Universe was saying, okay, let's give her a little bit, because the universe knows I need a little bit of confirmation sometimes, you know, all this shit. Yeah, you got it.
Can I ask you a question? When you got that realization that for me, what was your emotional sensation? What did you experience at that point?
Initially, it was like confusion. Hang on a second. It was like, oh, I had to acknowledge, hang on a second, what is this? I explored it a little bit. And then it was actually the next day upon awakening, we're like, oh my God, that was my sign. I didn't acknowledge it right away because it hasn't really happened so in my face before. But now, and then it was just bliss, joy, like, yes, let's do this.
How do you feel your emotion, your physical hand after that realization, bliss and joy? Wow, I already went through all that. I am not in that anymore. It's just like movie for me, not my experience anymore. How your physical hand was feeling?
The physical hand is improving. And of course, I cannot deny the fact that my friend gave me a nice little massage as well. So I'm not going to take that away and everything else that I've done. But deeply from my heart, I know it's a combination. And it's definitely the work that I've done. Apart from all the other things, the gift of that pain has been for me to explore all those astral entanglements, or let's call it the unseen entanglements. And it has created a new friendship almost, you know, like, because when the second part was through an acupuncture session, and I just started blurting out to the chick who was doing the acupuncture, and she was like, oh my God, this is great. And yeah, we're just having the most amazing conversation about that.
And this is part of embodiment. We can't deny physical treatments, physical actions when we work on spiritual level. If our physical body wants to have that peace and work, like you said, to bring those miracles in our life, become something else that we were before, we have to include physical as well.
Absolutely, and that's why I said in the very beginning when we started this is not about neglecting or withdrawing from the physical form. This is not about getting rid of denying our interests, our responsibilities that, you know, we need to nurture and to commit to in order to have a physical, secure, safe, you know, abundant life.
Embodiment.
So it's both. It's bringing it together. But I think both. Herminia said it. Irina said it. The reality begins to get boring. Yeah, and we're not taking away the beauty of nature and this and this and that, but it can get, how many bloody walks do I need to, you know, are there I can go to appreciate the sun and the moon and this and that, because the body knows the soul wants to grow. The soul is continuously growing, perpetually out creating itself, and it wants a bit of joy along those lines of imagination. Yeah,
and soul wants to play. Soul wants to play as well.
It wants to play. It wants to have that magic, you know. It wants to start acknowledging the etheric elementals, you know. It wants to play with all these different possibilities. We've been playing with each other, you know, with all these different people for so long now. So what else can we play with that we can't necessarily see yet? Having said that, we're starting to see the ghosts. We're starting to become more aware of our guardians, of our angels, especially in the dream time. So it's all happening anyway. So what we are doing, again, just playing with embodied spirituality and putting a very grounded spin to it, understanding of the astral realms, is for the purpose of taking away the fear and preparation for the death process. Irina.
And we start to see not just subtle world, we start to see different people that we couldn't see before, even humans, to play with them something different that we had before.
Yes. And with all
this is how we start. This is how we start to bring into our physical reality different experience, even physical. Then we can expand, like include into that new physical experience and subtle presence.
Absolutely.
And play with subtle world.
Absolutely. I'm so excited today. So who else wants to talk? Take the opportunity. What does embodied spirituality mean to you?
So can I
Yes, you can.
actually have a chance to talk now?
Yes, you can.
Even though I have nothing to say.
Oh,
Because when you put the topic out, embodied spirituality, you said come up with some questions. You know, I tried and I couldn't come up with anything that I could think of that my soul wanted to express, or the spirit in me wanted to say. So I just wanted to say that it was like something that Irina said in the very beginning, that when you went to and you got the acupuncture session, and at this time you couldn't see anything, it was just blank. And I wanted to come back to that, Irina. What do you think? That really fascinated me when you said that you couldn't see anything at that point. What do you think that is transpiring there now, at this point in time in our reality, where you're at in your spiritual evolution? What is that saying to you that you can share with us, that we can see a similarity in your explanation as what you were seeing and what we also might be experiencing in a similar way?
Thank you for this question, Lana. You see, for me, I answered that question for me personally when I realized what's happening. I understood that what people want to see as their previous lives and still dig into their previous lives may be not already existing in astral layer, but only existing in their memories, and they can recreate structure in astral world to support that experience of bringing back those soul shards and everything. But today, if you do it like I did, for example, just put 5 hertz frequency on my nerve point, it's already dissolving all my entanglement. So we have different possibilities today. Instead of diving and recreating, we can look at that. It's existing in my memories, and I can work with my memories and not to recreate rules of that structure that we call astral world, not to bring back or put even into astral world some limitation. This is what I answered for myself when I got that realization. So I don't need to recreate structure in astral layer. I can understand it was in my past, and in my present it's showing in my body that way, but it's not connected to my future. And I'm free to bring to my future possibilities something new.
So is that why you were experiencing that blankness, that nothingness there?
I wouldn't say it nothingness. It was like, a moment of what is next. It's like moment of, expansion going, but at the same time, I still don't have any definite elements in that expansion. I'm still kind like new to what to bring into my astral layer of me.
Yeah. So you're saying that you're creating here in your physical, and you are sending, and that might not be the right way to explain it, but you're sending that to the astral world to populate the astral world.
It's not coming from physical. Physical, okay. I will come to explore, but it's coming from what Martina already said, how we can dream differently, how we can use our dream, how we can use our connection to entirety of this universe, all dimensions of this universe. And for me, it's still new. This is what I experiencing with this whatever new coming.
So in other words, your daydreaming in this physical world is going to help to create something new that you can send to the astral world. Is that what I'm hearing you saying?
No. It's coming from here. It's not coming from here. Here we only realize what is coming to us, but it's coming from entirety of expansion of this universe.
Mm-hmm. So in my understanding, and this is not what you're saying, is my own personal belief, is that we experience the like they say, as above, so below. So everything already exists in a universal scale in the above, and then we here, when we come into the physical experience, we just play that out. Like the script's already kind of like when you go see a play, a stage play, the script is already there, and then the actors come in and play out that script. But we can manipulate it while we're here, and play it differently, or make choices and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's interesting observation, but if you look into indigenous prophecies, those real indigenous who are connected to reality, this is what they say. We don't know. Everything is possible. It's changing all the time. There is nothing written down for our future. This is that period when we are creating as we go our future. And really, using our free will, everything is possible. We can bring everything here.
Yeah. So I'm seeing it as everything, all ideas already exist and they're in complete form in the source, in the everything. And so every possibility is there for us to play with, to expand with, to experience in the moment, to do whatever we want in the moment, because everything already does exist in the entire universal mind.
My vision, it's how you will connect A, B, C, D differently than you connected before. From your clarity of understanding that you have A, B, C, D, and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, because we did it so many times before, we want to do it differently now.
Yeah. And in my vision, in relation to this possibility of future, again, we have to define in what vibration, I would say like this, in what core vibration we want to see our future on Earth and in this universe. As you look into universe and on Earth today, not so much universe, but on Earth, you can see some people so much oriented on creation, and a lot of people still oriented on destroying, and a lot of people still oriented on manipulation of both. So we have to define for us as humanity what kind of vibration we want to have as core vibration for our future. Is it destroying? Is it creating? Is it manipulating? This is my vision.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Now, with all of that, ladies, let me just add one thing here is, with this embodied spirituality, the expanded levels of awareness, all that kind of creation we're talking about will become easier. When I say easier, more ease. We have to really, really look at that. We can no longer create in the old paradigm. Well, we can, but you can't marry it up. If you choose to have a higher level of awareness, then you have to actually work with more ease and follow the energy instead of trying to force or trying to control something into being. Because, yes, everything might be available as infinite possibility in the universal field, in the energetic field, but we still have to, through our actions, have to pull it through and manifest it in this reality. Because, we're all masters of creating, I don't know, workshops, all sorts of things in the astral world. It's all hanging around there, and then other people pick it up and start creating it. Because, embodied spirituality means you gotta take action on whatever you are mentally, spiritually, emotionally creating.
Right on.
What I'm feeling is that many of us are no longer a synchronistic match to those frequencies that are destructive and are stuck in their old paradigm of what they want in their reality. And this frequencies a match that we are elevating to is the world that we want to create, or we want to see around us, that we want to experience. And this is why we're feeling such boredom in not, I mean, like one of you just said, I mean, how many sunsets can you watch? How many times can you go out and photograph the moon, or take walks in the park? I mean, we've done all these things. We still enjoy doing them, but we want something else, something that will continue to elevate our frequency, and separate ourselves away from those that want to stay stuck in the old paradigm and those frequencies that are no longer a synchronistic match to us, as I said.
I think, Lana, you're absolutely right. I think that question of what is my purpose has never been more important than now. But we're now asking it from a different perspective. We're not asking it as a body that sort of knows it's got a soul somewhere floating around, you know, but we're asking it as a soul to remember why we actually came here for, because we're starting to live as a soul aware of our physicality rather than as a body that has a vague connection to a soul. So that's becoming more and more important now. And I think this is where, you know, energy is becoming more, energy consciousness is becoming more important than knowledge and academia and that kind of thing. You know, we got to bring that heart in. You know, we've got lots of people here who work with the heart, and I'm a big fan of using the heart and actually connecting it with the mind so that we can then start tapping into, you know, the cosmic mind, because why not? Let's go beyond astral world.
Sorry. I could see exactly what you were trying to ask in the questions for the theme today when you were talking about that, because you know, initially, as you're going through your process of awakening, you are a body with a soul floating around somewhere. But now that we have found that and we're bringing that in, that is embodiment. It is being the soul, anchoring that into a body so that, like, it experiences it in the physical. So, what you just said and all that answered the question for me. That theme today. That is embodiment, is knowing that you are a soul and that you're bringing it into the physical through a body to have the experience.
Yeah. And it's no longer like a woo-woo thing. It's not a mystical thing. It's not a magical, but it's magical in a way, but it's something we can literally understand now, right? It's not something that it's taught. It's being taught in what's that what Steiner's doing? Not philosophy, theosophy. What's it called? Theosophy. Yeah, I mean, that is a spiritual science, and this is what we're talking about. It's coming, the faith, the monotheistic view. We're bringing all the different faiths together, that we're no longer needing to work on a level of dogmas, but from a place of, whoa, okay, there is a science behind the soul essence and the soul integration. Yeah, it's not a woo-woo thing. It's something we can
science. Yes, it's a spiritual science. Yep. And we have to become real keepers of this planet. This is our home. We have to become, and we have to push forward from us our intention, what kind of new experience we want to have on this earth, that core essence. I just still emphasize on that, because that will define how far we go and what direction we move. Will we again in resistance with something, or it will be free co-creation with like-minded, like-oriented people with the same core vibration? So this is how we can become those real keepers of this planet, of this home.
Yeah.
We have to say what kind of future, in what vibration that future do we want to see. This is what I do for several years already. Whenever I see something that is not of that vibration of co-creation, bringing something beautiful, bringing something that is expanding, I all the time say, I do not agree. with that experience to be part of my experience on my earth, in my universe. I just say it. And then, of course, I invite all possible assistants and I reconnect everything, and say to those beings and forces who are still recreating old one, thank you so much. I do not hold you anymore. I allow you to go to that place where you can continue your intention. It's not my intention in my home anymore. Done.
Absolutely. Let's do something quickly here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just.
I just have one quick note on embodiment and soul shard recovery. You know, and just think about my journey and all of these parts and pieces that I brought into my awareness from, you know, past lifetime and multidimensional lifetimes. And one of the things that I've had to really, you know, work with during this journey is, you know, like when I see a part of me that was dark, right, or that wanted power, or that, you know, played in some of these energies that I don't want to create with going forward per se, right? Like Irina says, what are we creating, right? This love and unity and collaboration and cooperation. But, you know, we've done a lot of different things over the course of our multiple lifetimes, right? Whether in awareness or unawareness. And, you know, for me, part of being in this journey in the physical is to, you know, love and accept my journey, right? With non-judgment and forgiveness. And, you know, if something is hitting hard, and I need to lay down because my body feels heavy, if I don't, you know, can't do something, you know, just be kind and gentle to myself, to yourself, right? Because when you're not, right, that's the resistance, right? You know, that integration is bringing yourself back into this, I don't know, wholeness or oneness with you, right? And all of those multidimensional versions of yourself. So I just wanted to say, you know, I think we're all in a different, you know, part of our journey, right? But I know that that's been really, really helpful for me as I'm continuing to embody all of these parts and pieces of me.
Yes, but your experience, it's your experience, it's not you. So if you already integrating, like you said, you bringing memory about your experience, you're making your soul whole, but you're not associating you with your experience. You see it as your experience. And when you bring it in, you already don't belong to that kind of intention for experience. You don't have the darkness or whatever. You see it as whole and complete. This is what we did in our duality experience. So it's not pain anymore. It's not heaviness anymore. It's a bliss of remembering that, yes, I did everything, but I remember it's not me. It's my experience. Then no heaviness. You perceive that reconnection completely different. Yes, you naturally bring love and acceptance, because who are you? You are love.
Of course.
You are that vibration. But we had that experience that we can't call it was love. It was soul going through experience. When we see it in context, it's not soul, it's soul had experience. No heaviness, no darkness.
I
no
can see
nothing.
that, of course, from the perspective I'm looking from now. But when I was in it, right, when I was in that emotional integration, it was very important for me to really have that non-judgment and forgiveness.
It's a part of integration. First,
yeah, exactly.
You have to stop. You have to stop that moment of going down or denying or whatever. You stop and then you say, interesting. This is what I went through. What is that? In universal term, what was it? And then you see it's one part of duality of wholeness. And then, aha, whoa, you rename it in unity language, and it sounds completely different. It's not darkness, it's not heaviness, it's not something that you deny. It's like, whoa, for soul, it was so exciting experience. You're already bringing it together. And then it's so easy not to have that intention or even a pull into that direction.
So I'd like to add something. This is really interesting. I'd just like to add my perspective to this, because even before I associated myself more as a soul and had more of an identity, you know, I have not lost my identity. And until that time where I will go back as pure spirit into the monad, which, you know, is only glimpsely happening throughout incarnations. I haven't really chosen that because I'm quite fond of my soul's personality. I still appreciate the levels of duality that even am I experiencing in the astral world to a lesser extent, but the pure bliss, as far as I'm concerned, is beyond the soul, is when the soul really, really goes back into the pure energy of source. So I'm quite happy to keep my individuality, my personality going, which means I am quite fond of the idea of taking responsibility as a soul in this realm and in the unseen realm as well. Because that individuality, and of course in between incarnations, because pretty much what we're talking about is the level of exploration of our soul once we're losing our physical body. We are actually, that's just my perception, in the astral realm, in the lower 4 astral realms, I keep maintaining my personality. Yes, I have access to, you know, to the higher levels as well, but for me to come back as another soul and to make that journey of preparation and everything, the personality, the I am, remains for me personally until I choose to go back into source, which may or may not.
I agree 100%. Personality, this is what we have here for experience, 100%. But maybe we associate duality with physicality. It's 2 different things.
No. I associate duality to the astral world as well. It's not just a physical thing for me. Duality allows experience on the soul level and the physical level.
What is your duality today? Can you describe your duality today?
Well, the duality here, if I just look at the screen here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, right?
It's individuality. It's not duality, it's individuality. This is that personality that we still have to be separate here.
I hear you. But okay, so call it individuality instead of duality. There is still that level of this is now, you know, I hear what you're saying, yes, and I stand corrected. So let's not call it duality. But having said that, it's neither here nor there for what we are trying to experience, or what we are trying to we have to, needless to say, we go beyond the level of judgment. We go beyond the rightness and the wrongness. But that individuality, that unique individualism of the soul still remains beyond us losing the form, because that's the whole thing. We're coming back with exactly the same personality, not exactly the same, because we do learn a little bit over there, right, as well. But we pretty much continue from where we're stopping once we're here. So duality is fading out. Yeah, we're going away.
Judgment is fading out. Judgment is not part of personality. Personality, when it's personality, it's accepting everything. Judgment coming from ego, and I call ego not loved part of your personality.
Okay, well, for me, ego is the I am. Without the ego, I could not exist. I'm not talking about an overinflated ego, yeah, that is in judgment, But ego for me is the I am. That's my
I would say ego, I would say for me, I am, it's a personality. And what is difference between ego and personality in my vision? When personality, it's a whole and complete. I love everything in me, nothing stepping forward to scream louder. When I still have some parts, traits of my personality that is doing all work and must be the loudest just to survive, then I call it's not loved part of my personality. I never understood that what people call ego into wholeness of me, of my personality, of I am existence. This is how I see it.
Yeah.
And you have complete personality, not even question of judgment of not acceptance appearing, it dissolving.
Yeah.
Is how I see it.
Absolutely. And this is what makes us all individuals. And this is why, discussions like that are so important, because, we all have a different perspective, a different, I wouldn't even say point of view, because the idea is the same, it's just the way of how we are expressing it, for me, the fortification of the I am is definitely that individuation journey from separation back into oneness, back into unity, back into soul consciousness, where we maintain our level of individuation, where we maintain our I am. I've never had an issue with ego. Yeah, I've never been one of those. I'm going to turn it the other way around and say, if you lose your ego, then you cannot exist. Without an ego, you can't exist in the physical world, because you have no framework. It's a framework. It's that keeps you, that makes it able for you to move. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let's just do one thing quickly. Anyone want to say anything to that? I just want to, because we were talking about, let's just think of that, what we all were saying. There's so many thoughts, so many emotions, so many great ideas that we are having in the physical world, spoken, right? Everything creates a thought form in the unseen. Let's just call it the unseen. So let's just tap into the unseen. And let's just take all the thought forms, all the ideas, all the old emotions, old desires, old longings, old passions that are no longer serving this avatar on the dharmic path. And let's just destroy and uncreate all of those. And just first of all, get an idea of how many are there. They're all floating around. And some of them have actually, they've become bigger clouds because other people think the same shit, not shit, but having the same thoughts. So just claim your energy back from all of those. We're needing to create clarity in what we want to create. It's all about clarity and focus. The more clarity we have what we want to create here, and even if it's just an energy, the more we can clear out and tap into the unseen. And then just get one particular. Now, in fact, if you haven't got it already, I'm sure you have it created, but let's create a new bubble of reality there, a new cloud, a cloud form, where we're just going to say, this is our new thought form, where we're going to create on the dharmic path as a team of consciousness explorers. And that thought form, we're going to use only for levels of trust, hope, faith, gratitude, forgiveness, all those emotions, neutral in their makeup. And we're just going to add thoughts and emotions that match that energy, that higher frequency. And then we're just going to invite our entourage, our hubs of interconnectivity to add their support, to add their energies, so that we together can start creating along those lines. And anything, there's something else coming in that does not fit, that does not match that energy, we're just gonna not accept it. We can be in allowance of it, but we're not gonna let it in. So you can do this for yourself. There's just, just all the thought forms you've created over lifetimes and all the different timelines, dimensions, universes, galaxies. Take them, bundle them up, get rid of them, burn them, bury them, do whatever you want to do with them. And then just have, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 projects. And you don't have to know exactly what the project's going to look like. Just see, does it match what my soul wants to create? Good. Do I need to know right now what it is? No. But every energy that matches that, just pop it into that bubble. So that's just one of the things. So where are we at the moment? So questions. I've got a little exercise we can do afterwards, but what kind of questions, what other questions have you guys? Sorry, I have to go, Mary. Good to have you here. Bye, Mary.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone. I'm sorry I have to go.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks
Bye.
for coming in, hey?
Okay, bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
What other questions did we have regarding embodied spirituality?
I don't know, for some reason when Lana was talking about, I felt like, come on, this show that we have been presenting, all this timeline, all this experience, is already like a boring. Let's do something better. Let's get out.
Our show is boring. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
It was like the feeling like, let's do something better. Why we keep just repeating the same thing, that the drama and all the situation, and enjoy, bring something like a new thing in the movie, something better, not just trying to figure out what I did yesterday and what I can do tomorrow, what we can do right now. And then you came with a vision to create this. And like Elena was talking, that sometimes when something comes into my mind that doesn't go with what I'm looking for, love, joy, and peace and gratitude, and I just say, cancel, I don't need that. I don't need that. Thank you. I'm not needed now. And then it's like we are ready for the show to start, and like we start like waiting. That's what I was thinking when Lana was talking about it. I thought, this show has to, we gotta do something better than what we have been doing it. Let's just this party start. It was like, I feel like whatever can be done. I feel like really motivated and then joyful, and gratitude, and bring all that feeling, instead just to go in the same or way to look at life. It was kind of interesting.
Question. I have a question to Herminia. Are you on that level of existence when you don't recognize crazy neighbor next to you, or you can live not to have those people around you at all? Are you on that level of life today?
Well, the only thing I feel like not to be observed, I just observe it, but I don't feel like affecting the way like I used to, like going the sadness or criticizing. I just feel like in this very neutral position, like something, this is the drama, one more the drama, one more the whatever using to control and manipulation. And I don't go in that role of feeling guiltiness or sorrow or sorry or any of those feelings. It's sometimes challenge myself, oh my God, I don't know, because I'm not feeling anything. It's so neutral that I cannot even blame or complain or anything. It's kind very.
Can I ask another question? If today, for example, crazy neighbor will move on top on you and live crazy life, how you will feel? What will happen with your neutrality?
In my neutrality?
Yeah, what will happen with your neutrality?
Well, I'll bring my attention to that person, and then is it something that I cannot change it? Why going to be fighting for? I will look the way.
But that neighbor live on top on you, and it's affecting somehow your life. It's neighbor on top of you. What will happen with? What will you do?
Well, I will look for better choices for myself, because I cannot change in that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you will have to move somewhere or bring some law that will bring that neighbor from your environment.
Of course, take action. Yes, of course.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking. If we want to create and bring that new experience, that brightness, we have to clean our home first, without judgment, knowing that nothing is, we denying nothing, we just sorting out. If we want to have new experience in our home, this is what we say. Nothing will left behind. It will just move where it will continue what it, imagination about life or perception of life, of experience.
Yeah.
But we have to say it for our home if we want to have it in our home, that new experience. We have to say it to embody that new experience, because for today, we still, if we didn't decide as humanity where we're going, at some point we will come to that realization that embodiment is difficult.
Yeah.
That something crazy will come and will try to, I don't know, influence what we want to experience, how we want to see our future.
Yep.
So
You.
a couple of things we've mentioned already. So bring back that joy, bring back that exploration, that enthusiasm is working with your imagination. Yeah. And we were, I think, Irina, you said daydreaming, and a great way of doing it is actually obviously become aware of your dreams, start writing them down, and then, whatever you start dreaming, and even if it's just a one line, it's like I dreamt the other day that I was given a expired jar of pickled gherkins. Yeah. And a friend of mine gave me those in my dream, and I was absolutely fascinated by the metaphorical representation. I'm thinking, what the hell is this? It was so much fun for me to figure out what that meant. And I just took that dream, and I kept, throughout my day, I kept on dreaming. What else happened afterwards? And what did the jar look like? And then I Googled what pickled gherkins, metaphysical, benefits of pickled gherkins, and trust me, there are quite a few. And I'm like, really? And and started doing all of this. And then, needless to say, 2 days later, the guy, which I haven't spoken to for 3 years, found me on LinkedIn and sent me a text, as it so happens, right? So it's like, what? And I said, I spoke to him and I said, what the hell? What are you giving me this pickled gherkins? And he obviously had no idea what I was talking about. But and that brings the fun back in. Now, the other thing is, of course, we're not supposed to lose ourselves in astral dreaming or, in all these other realities. So what I do is I use clues in this reality to make stories with. Like I've just posted on Facebook, I've got this huge jar of marbles in my room. And I'm like, oh, why am I having these marbles, right? So I just started looking at that. What do they mean to me? Why do I collect marbles, right? And then I started making a post of it. I mean, I could write a story. I could write probably a whole book about it. But what are the marbles telling me? And then I have a conversation with the with the marbles, you know, and things like that. And maybe I'm losing my marbles. Yes, that is a possibility too. But I'm okay with that. So everything that I'm perceiving and receiving in this tangible reality here, I am making something with it. And that starts creating that magic, and that starts giving me ideas, and that starts allowing me to have more dreams, you know, and then working with the different Dreamtime societies, you know, where we can create and all that. So dreams, clues, all of that, using your imagination, really, really, really important now. Going beyond the 5 senses. Yeah, don't get frustrated if you don't see spirit. I don't see it. I just know they're there. Make them up. I was having a conversation with, I drove down to my friend, 2.5 hours. Had the best time ever. I had so many beings in my car. We had so many discussions, so many explorations. By the time I arrived, I had, I don't know, solved 500 different problems that I didn't even know I had, just by having a conversation with those unseen. If somebody looks into the car, and there's me like talking to all sorts of things, which probably also led to, you know, I'm gonna give you that psychic, what's it called, psychic surgery thing I did. So my friend was working on me for the shoulder, and then she started working on my tummy, and she was just doing this on my tummy, and I told her, just don't do any particular therapy, just whatever comes. And as she was working, just doing this, I started making up, imagining the story of her. I realized she was closing portals. And I thought, Jesus, how many portals have I got open? And close. And then we got to the last one. And I said, are you perceiving something? And she said, well, you're holding on to something here. I can't. And I said, well, I can't close the portal. She said, what portal? I said, no, don't worry about it. I said, I can't close it. Can you keep it open for me? Can you hold the space? And I started feeling already emotions coming up. And I thought, okay, well, because I said, I have to go into that portal. There's a soul shard of mine in there that I need to bring out. So, and she did such a marvelous job, because, you know, she didn't need to do anything. I was doing it by myself, but she needed to hold the portal open and not go into conclusion or tell me I was talking shit or something. So she was holding the portal open. I went straight in there. There was a huge metal heap of metal, scrap metal. And right underneath was that soul shard of mine that was formless. And all I could see was a blob. And it was like this blob, yellow. It was yellow. And I started getting really emotional, and tears were coming. And I said, okay, I'm going to take you out, right? And she said, no, you can't do that. You can't hold me. And I said, okay. And then she started stretching out a stick hand. Yeah. This is how the imagination works, that stick hand. And when I saw that stick hand reaching out for me to hold her, I got even more emotional, right? And then I got her out of that heap of scrap metal, and I took her with me. And then as I'm walking, I'm realizing that she was my twin. I have a huge birthmark, not huge, but a birthmark on my thigh in the back, which I was once told that I had absorbed the twin. And I realized that she was my twin that was stuck in that, God knows where she was stuck. Ancient. And of course that did it for me. I had huge release, got through the portal with her, closed the portal. I was done. Got up. My friend was like, are you all right? I said, hey, I'm great. Let's have some tea. I'm done. And it was the most amazing thing. And she's been with me all along, and she's resting, and, you know, she's talking to me, and she said, oh, this is amazing. Haven't been I'm so glad to be back in the body. So she's telling me all these things. Did I make it up? Of course I made it up. But who makes it up? It's me. You know? My individual personality, soul, whatever you want to call it. Was that a good day? That was amazing. Was that fun? Yes. Was I bored after that? No. But that's how we're working, right?
very cool. Can be like the scene for the movie.
And there was no control over what was happening. That was just a looking. It wasn't even a looking, it was just a perceiving what's going on. Why can't, okay, this is portals. Why can't I close this portal? You know, asking a question, what's going on? And one thing led to the next. And of course, when you have tears of joy and gratitude, and there was this, it came from here. And it just released. And then, of course, what does that do to my arm? It's the pericardium. Lots of people have issues with their arms now because that's the pericardium meridian, right? Because everything's coming in. Spirit's coming in through the etheric, through the meridians. That's why we do acupuncture now. We're working on the etheric, on the nadis, because this is where spirit comes in, into the vagus nerve, like Irina said, into the liver, into the spleen, and into the organs, into the heart.
So Martina, Harmenia just gave me an idea for you to pursue. You can make a short movie documentary of that story. All you need now is a filmmaker, someone who desires to make short movies, documentaries.
Yeah.
And you have a good story. I'm sure lots of people would watch that because it's fascinating in itself.
I know. I mean, there's a Dreamtime story I wrote in my book. It was the same thing. It was a dream, and then I carried on dreaming it when I was awake, and it was good enough to put it in the book.
Yeah.
It can be the title, like Navigating Through Portals.
Yeah.
But this is what
Navigating through portals.
we can do this. Every single one of us does that, right? We all are psychic surgeons.
Wonderful. I gotta go.
I'm here
Bye
with
bye.
being.
All right, guys. Well, what time?
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, well, thanks very much, guys. And on that note, great to have you here. I hope, other than Herminia, you weren't bored. And she will be giving us a topic for next week. Herminia is going to provide the topic for next week. Did you hear me, Herminia?
I do.
She is. Okay, all good. And I see
Okay.
you girls next week. Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao.